if men and women communicate differently in the general sense, how, if you have a woman in her own outside of the general who happens to communicate more like a man, how do you overcome the expectation that she should be communicating more like a woman?
So that's a great question. I think that it's important, and as we go through, I thought you were going to go in a different direction. I thought you were saying, if a woman communicates like a man and has some of those wonderful behavioral patterns, how do you overcome the fact that she's a you-know-what, right? That's the question I usually get. So it's really important that you use common sense, and that you draw on the skills that you have, and that you recognize other people's feelings. So you can be smart, aggressive, forceful, and not obnoxious. Right? So you can be a great leader and still build consensus. You can say, this is the direction I think it's important for us to go in, but I also recognize I need to hear from everybody because you may have a different perspective. Let's talk it out. But you can take that ownership, you can take that control, you cannot necessarily behave like a man, but behave with confidence. So we need to get away from that. I may have reinforced that as I was speaking, but as I'm listening to myself even, it's not about I sound like a man or I sound like a woman, it's just how do I sound? And how can I use communication? It's not what I'm saying, but what you're hearing. And one of the things we can do is say to each other, tell me what you think I just said. I want to make sure that I communicated well and you heard my message. When that person repeats it, they may be saying something different, like the old game that we used to play at the parties of where you said one thing and then the person repeated, got all the way around, was a totally different story. So you can, as a woman, be interested enough to say, and as men, be interested enough to say, this is what I intended, let's recap. And so you can be strong and assertive without being dominant and obnoxious. And you can praise your team without and deflect some of the pride you have to them without detracting from yourself as well. This is my team, we built this great team, I'm so proud of my team. You have a role in that. So I think it's when you abdicate the role completely that you get into real trouble. Did that help?